Good morning. I got back from Montreal from the conference late last night. I was at IX Symposium in Montreal with Evelyn and Andrea. It was great. So let's do some makeup. As opposed to my last live stream, I decided we have got to do this in the bathroom because usually this is how I would normally do my makeup, with this mirror to help me see to the back of my head, a place where I cannot normally see. So welcome to my white boring bathroom with no art in the background. Yay! Step 1. Always glasses. Oh, glasses. Okay. Let's get our makeup out. I'm going to be using Tag Body Art Face Paint, water activated, with a couple different brushes. Pretty excited. While I was in Montreal, I discovered finger painting on my head, which seems like an easy thing to discover, but I never actually tried it before. So we're also going to be using fingers. I'm using one angled brush for my eyebrows and my one standard thing of makeup, eyebrow powder in this color, which is technically too dark for my complexion, according to people who sell makeup, but I don't care. I usually do my eyebrows first unless I'm going to paint over them. So let's just start there. No, I don't do foundation or any of those things. So this totally smooth face is just what we get stuck with. Yeah. Even coloring, no bumps or blemishes anywhere. Gotta love it. Just natural, natural smoothness. Okay. Eyebrows are easy. Angled brush, dark powder. Maybe I have to move it slightly this way. Okay. So I can, nope, that's not gonna work. Great, I'll do it this way. Very easy, brushing up with the lighter color, half of the panel, and then turning the brush the other way, so it's pointing this way. Okay, eyebrows up into the corner. Brush, 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 brush. I saw there was a comment, but I was not fast enough to read it. I guess I should introduce myself if this is the first video of mine you've ever seen. Hi, I'm M. Eifler, also known as Blink Pop Shift. I'm an artist. I make makeup drawings, virtual reality, augmented reality, all kinds of things. But of course here, we're going to stick with makeup. If you want to see the whole history of ridiculous head makeup that I've done, go to my Instagram, which is Blink Pop Shift on Instagram. I mentioned this in a previous live stream, this giant cake. Oh, great. Makeup has been inspirational to other people. That's great. Giant cake of also Tag. This is the first face paint makeup I ever bought. I'm not actually sure why I decided that this much green was really necessary, but maybe eventually I'll use it all. Today, no giant green cake. I'm just going to stick with... last time I did an entire face look, and I will do more of those in the future, but... today is just like actual makeup I'm going to wear outside. So this is dropping things. This is water activated, so you need like a little cup of water. Keep your brushes clean and to have enough water to activate the cake. Highly recommend not having hair in it. There's cat hair in my water. Let's try not to get that on my face. Let's see, what else should you know about me if this is your first video? I live in San Francisco. I use they, them pronouns, and half of my head is shaved, which I have lovingly started to refer to as queer pattern baldness. Yes, queer pattern baldness. Okay, let's see. Where can you see makeup? Oh, look there we go. In the reflection. So professional, I know what I'm doing. Okay, so, I would usually get dressed first and then put on my makeup, but I was itching to live stream, so we're gonna go colors first, and I feel like purple, so let's start in the purple. Getting the brush a little bit wet and then just working the liquid into the surface of the cake. The viscosity of the brush, the paint on the brush is you know, you can change it based on like what you want the look to look like. So you want it to be kind of drippy and you want to make actual paint drips, which is what I'm going to do today. We're going to use a lot more water than normal. So let's see, I'm just going to work like a bunch of water, but not get it too viscous. So let's see, let's start under my eyebrow. And I'm just going to get as much liquidy purple on there as I can so that I can really get, you can see like right here, a little drop starting to form. So we're just going to go with that. Adding in more purpley liquid drops so I can get a drip starting to form. One of the reasons I really like this dripping thing is it like follows the contour of your face. Ugh. Eye goobers. Pardon me while I lick my finger and get rid of my eye goobers. That's only mildly embarrassing to live stream on the internet. Here we go. Yeah. Drippy eye bits. Okay. Now, I want to keep the purple going back farther. So I'm going to start here behind my ear. Now, if you're going to start doing this kind of like big head makeup, which I highly recommend, it's great, having the facing mirror is a total skill. So you have to look at the mirror and then reflect what you're doing with your hand. So it can get a little awkward. But, and then also switching from the forward-facing mirror to the back-facing mirror can also be a little bit weird. But let's see, let's add some more purple going this way. It's going to be a little bit harder to get like a real paint drip back here because my hair absorbs a lot of the paint and I don't have like the freshest, shortest haircut right now. I haven't cut it for a few days, so we might have to artificially induced paint drip as opposed to this sort of like smooth natural one that I'm getting in the front. So let's just fake a little bit of paint drip and then add on top of that a bunch of liquid to help accentuate its paintfulness. You can also just take water from the cup, and since my cup I've only used purple so far, that can help. Really, you can see now it's starting to drip down my neck, and once it gets past your hairline, the drip will go on its own a little bit more. And you know, just being careful to not touch it at all until it's actively dried. So okay, we have this little drippy L shape and a drippy L shape here, really dripping down the back of my neck now. Though I'm getting this by just adding more water from the cup. Maybe I'll add a little bit more water from the cup to this front area too, to really accentuate, get this drip to come down a little farther. But don't worry, once it dries, the drips will, you know, solidify in your face. Also, getting it all over your hands always happens. Okay, purple done. Water is completely purple. Now, let's see. I am feeling like a very pink human, so let's try some white. And I'm not going to clean the brush too well to get a kind of lavender white. And then we'll go in and highlight above the line. I think I'm going to go for something kind of painterly today, but without nothing too extreme. I want to actually wear this. This was the last time when I immediately washed the entire thing off. So white here, just a little bit of like dirty purple white. Get some lavender going. Yes. Painterly thing here. Now my hair is a really light color. You can sort of see my natural color is growing in right here. This is dyed over here, but this is like sort of light blonde, brown. So it's not that hard to paint over my natural hair color, but if your hair is much darker than mine, you might have to be more diligent about like cutting it down. But I would love to, I have some friends who have volunteered to let me live stream paint their faces too. So we'll see more in the future about how like painting over darker hair colors will work. Okay. Now this is the kind of thing that I would wear to work. I understand that not everyone works in an environment where this kind of thing is acceptable, but I fortunately do. I work at a VR research lab where no one really cares how I dress. But, you know, wearing out to brunch with your friends or any other various environment where you feel comfortable to be a little more expressive with your makeup. I've talked about this a bit before, but I was introduced to makeup by my grandmother. I'm going to move you guys out a little bit. There we I was introduced to the concept of makeup, like foundation and eyeliner and powder and all that stuff by my grandmother, which was really fun, but it never really felt like me. And I didn't want to have to, you know, militantly give up makeup because I transitioned to non-binary. I just wanted to be able to do makeup that didn't feel like it was the sort of enforced femininity that I often feel like happens even when men or male identifying people are doing makeup online. So this is my attempt to sort of be more expressive, have more fun with it, and also get rid of this sort of expectation of beauty that comes along with a lot of makeup tutorials. Not that those things are bad, it's just not my style. Okay, so now we have this sort of like pink over the white thing going, which I like, but it's very horizontal, so let's do something a little more contrasting color. I'll probably go with a light green and get into a more vertical scrubby line. I kind of like this white bit here, so I'm gonna use my finger, so just getting my finger wet. I might use some clean water though, because that's very purple water. Using my pointer finger to rub open the surface of the green, this light green color. Getting it kind of viscous, because when you're using your finger, you have to use a lot more paint than you would normally use with a brush. So let's see, let's just come in here and get kind of a scrubbiness going. Ooh, ooh. There we go. That was me. That was me trying to look at the front and the back mirror at the same time. Not gonna work. A little more water. Oh, I love this color. I'm gonna really scrub it in over the other's colors and see what happens. Just sort of like dabbing it in. And of course, like you could use a bigger brush for this, but I love to eat with my hands. I was eating rice and sausage and kale last night with my hands. It just feels great to eat with your hands. Feels great to put makeup on with your hands. Just come down here a little bit over this area. Just give it sort of like a cloud of this bright green color. And of course, the more you tap it in, the more it's going to blend with the previous colors. This is very similar to working with watercolor in that if you add more color to the area, it's going to blend more. So a lot of the watercolor style approaches that you would normally do to regular paint are great. So let's see. Oh, I like that little curve thing. Yes. Okay. So I have that one big green blob. Let's make a tinier green blob just about here. I feel like I'm making happy little trees on my head. That's nice. Okay, I'm gonna wash the green off my hands so I don't get it everywhere else. And then we'll move on to another thing. If you guys have recommendations or you'd like to see a certain kind of makeup tutorial that maybe you've seen on my Instagram channel, sure, it's a channel. My Instagram, I'd be happy to leave it in the comments and I can do another get ready with me with those styles. I'm hoping to be doing this, more regularly, really getting into my actual everyday makeup as opposed to just like the totally extreme makeup that I have done on live streams previously. Okay, I'm just gonna go back in and add a few more details. I think it's a good sort of color blocking, and so I'm just adding in these sort of vertical white stripes I have this square brush here and just turning it vertical and then dotting it into the skin. Playing around a lot with how you use the brush, how viscous the paint is, and what angle the brush is to your head. All of those things can be really fun for adding details. Wait, doop, doop, doop. Yes. Spot, spot, spot. Okay, I think that looks good. Now I'm gonna are there any kind of brushes that are especially good for tight little crisp lines? Okay, this is a really good question. I would highly recommend this, where is it? So I have two styles of tiny little line brushes. Now this is your head, so if you want the most extreme line, I would highly recommend buying like a felt tip black eyeliner, especially if you want black. Eyeliner brushes you can buy in sort of like brush tip or felt tip. Felt tip is like a more resistant brush tip. But if you want to do it with brushes, which is what I do, there are two ways of doing it. So there's this sort of skinny but in all directions, it is the same shape in all directions, pointed brush. And then there's this kind of thin angled brush. These two things you can get, you know, different lines. And this is obviously like if you turn to the side, you're going to get more like a broad line. But this one I find easier to do like a very crisp, very sort of straight line. If you want to do something that's thin, but you can have a little bit more like curvilinear quality to the line, I would use this one. So for this, I'm going to use the curvilinear brush. Curvilinear just meaning like, you know, squiggly, versus rectilinear meaning more like circuit board, like boop, 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 you know, right angles. Okay, so I don't really want to wear black today, so let's do a crisp, tight, let's go with yellow. So I'm just gonna get my thin curvilinear brush and then work it into the yellow a little bit. And to get a really crisp line, you need the thing to be pretty viscous, but then when you're doing it, you just want to be using the very tip of the brush. Okay, so I have a bunch of yellow built up on the brush here. And to get a really crisp line also, you want to have both of your arms. Let's see, you can see here. I have my wrist and I'm going to rest my elbow on my wrist so that there's more resistance between my two arms. You could do it on a table, but I have to stand up to do my makeup. So resting, you know, like also like against your chest, like really supporting that arm so that you have a limited range of motion in the painting arm. So then we're going to do, you're just going to touch the very tip of the brush to your head. And you'll see like how much thinner of a line I can get versus these white lines up here. I'm touching very, very minimally, very just the tip of the brush. And then I'll increase the quantity of the brush that is touching my skin as I go this way, so you'll see the line get fatter and fatter as I go. One of the problems you're going to have with doing super thin lines like this on this kind of thing is that if it's over your hair is going to fuck up the line. So if you want to do super thin, super like skinny little detail lines, doing them on the area, either shaving your head completely down, like not just, like I use a buzzer razor, but if you shave it completely to the skin, you'll get a much better line. Or doing it near your eye where the skin, where you don't need to remove hair in order to get a crisp line. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same style of lines but much thicker, using the sort of the same brush but in a different brush stroke, so holding the brush vertically this time and then tilting it as I make the arc. You get a thicker line, same brush, same color, same amount of paint that's going on my head. But this time, you know, instead of having the brush at this angle to my face where I'm just trying to touch the tip, I'm holding it at this angle to my face so we get more exposure to the bristle. And you know, if you're doing these long lines like this and you run out of color in the middle, you just have to go back. This is where having reverse mirror skills really helps. Just go back over it and blend the new paint into the old paint until you get something that you like. Great. Perfect. So this is about the maximum amount of paint that I would wear just on a normal day. So I'm going to stop here. Let me put my glasses on so you can see it. Or so I can see it. You guys can see it without my glasses on. So yeah, this is my today look. I'll probably go get dressed now to match whatever this is. This purple line is going to take an extra long time to dry, so just be careful if you're doing drip lines. And I will see you guys, I guess tomorrow. I want to try to do this every time I put my makeup on. Bye!